The traditional type horseshoe, semicircle, the modular others, less popular, combinations, etc. The traditional one. The traditional type is further categorized into two: uniform and theater. The uniform, it is a type of seating arrangement in which all learners sit on the same level platform in the form of row and columns with spaces for easy movement. The facilitator's platform is usually higher than that of the learners. The seats are either fixed to the ground or are movable. The traditional one, can't. The theater type, the seating arrangement, takes the form of ascending or descending order depending on whether one is facing the learners or is behind them. Those in front are on a lower platform than those behind. Unlike the uniform type, those in front are not likely to block the views of those behind. Advantages of the traditional type: best for large classes/groups, usually when the purpose is to deliver/provide information. Relatively cost-effective/cheaper in terms of personnel, especially facilitators, classrooms/space, teaching and learning materials. Disadvantages of the traditional type: not very effective for class discussions. Some learners may feel intimidated by the sheer size of the class and as a result, may not ask questions in class even when they need clarification, will not answer questions in class even when they know the answers to a question. There is the tendency for the facilitator to focus on those at the front to the disadvantage of the others. Disadvantages of the traditional type: those at the back in particular may feel alienated and may absent themselves from class, do their own thing. When class is in progress, use cellular phone on things not related to the learning process, communicate/engage in conversation. Other things that tend to distract the class. Disadvantages of the traditional type: less direct interaction between the facilitator and the learners, very little or no personal knowledge of learners by the facilitator, less eye contact with learners, less direct interaction among learners, very little or no personal knowledge of learners. Horseshoe or semicircle: it takes the form of a half circle or a horseshoe. Where necessary, there is an inner semicircle to accommodate additional persons. The inner one is usually arranged in such a way that they do not obstruct the views of those in the outer semicircle. The facilitator and the learners are on the same platform. Advantages of the horseshoe: very effective for class discussion, enhances direct contact and interaction between the facilitator and learners, facilitates effective preparation by learners, allows for eye contact and better monitoring of learners, thereby reducing distractions, reduces absenteeism on the part of students, may help stage fright individuals to overcome. Disadvantages of the horseshoe: relatively expensive in terms of personnel, especially facilitators, classrooms, teaching and learning materials. The modular type: this is usually adopted in task-oriented courses or when learners are to work in groups. Learners are put in small groups to resolve issues. The modular type, can't. It encourages healthy competition among groups. It frees time for the facilitator to help the group with more challenges. If tasks are appropriately assigned, members put in their best and enrich the delivery of the end product. If group members are maintained for a reasonable period, it fosters friendship. Shortcomings of the modular type: it has the potential for social loafing, not effective for class discussion involving all the learners, not for very large classes. Discussions/reflections: students to find out and discuss the recommended number of pupils/students per class from nursery through lower primary to senior high for the sciences and arts. The same should be done for tertiary levels for the sciences and humanities. How applicable were these in their previous and current schools, and what are the potential effects of their adherence or otherwise? Further reading: Wanarka, R., and Rule, K. 2008. Seating arrangements that promote positive academic and behavioral outcomes, a review of empirical research. Support for Learning 23, 289-93. Retrieved September 17, 2014. Rosenfield, Lambert, Black, 1985. Desk arrangement effects on pupil classroom behavior. J. Ornell of Educational Psychology. Mining: it is the extraction of naturally occurring valuable minerals such as gold, oil/petroleum, diamond, and salt from the earth crust or under the sea. They are non-renewable resource, cannot be grown through agricultural processes or created artificially in a laboratory or factory. Human cannot add to it. These minerals are usually of economic value. History of mining. Egypt is credited to have first mined gold on the Sinai Peninsula/mountain around 3000 BC. Mining usually involves three main processes of prospecting or exploration, evaluation, extraction and reclamation. Extraction may take the form of surface mining or subsurface/underground mining. The latter takes the form of vertical and horizontal tunnels. History of mining. Ghana started mining gold around 1493. Chamber of Mines, 1998, is currently second in gold production in Africa. Minerals represent over 25% of the country's export trade. Ghana discovered oil in 2027 and she is currently an oil-producing country. Benefits of mining. Ghana contributes to gross domestic products, GDP. Technology transfer to the country provides social amenities/services such as health facilities, recreational centers, etc. Offers about 17,000 person, direct and indirect pay royalties to traditional authorities, contribute to taxes and also put the name of the country on global markets. Adverse effects of mining. They occur during and long after operations have ended. May be categorized into environmental, health and socio-economic. According to the International Labour Organization, ILO, mining is one of the most hazardous industries in the world and that more than 1,200 persons die annually from mining-related accidents. ILO Report, 2012. On the average, one person dies or is maimed for every ounce of gold mined. ILO, 2012. Adverse effects of mining. Cont. It pollutes both surface and underground. Wacom, 2013. If such water bodies serve as a source of drinking water, then it may lead to waterborne diseases. It also affects aquatic life. Death of fishes and the whales. Daily Graphic, February, 2019. According to Ghana AIDS Commission reports, mining communities/towns are among *. Adverse effects of mining. Cont. Settlements with high rate of HIV/AIDS infection/cases. GAC, 2012. High incidence of chest diseases, especially among children and the aged. Some houses develop cracks as a result of the use of dynamite in blasting rocks. There are occasional misunderstanding and conflict between residents/indigenes and the adverse effects of mining. Cont. Mining companies over non-fulfillment of certain pledges made before the commencement of work. There are occasional misunderstanding and conflict between mining communities over the location of projects to be provided by the mining companies. Communities which are relocated usually complain of the nature * of the residential. Adverse effects of mining. Cont. Facilities provided. Those who lost their lands to mining activities usually complain of inadequate compensation. There is usually high level of school dropout or truancy, especially among teenagers, and transitional results are usually poor. Cost of living is relatively higher, while some mining companies engage in unfair trade * invariably, it leads to land degradation. Adverse effects of mining. Cont. Tunnels left behind become dead traps to both human and animals, especially domestic animals. Adverse effects of mining. Cont. Erosion, loss of biodiversity. Refer the Daily Graphic and MyJoyOnline for the health and related effects on mining by the Ghana Medical Association, HGMA. What can be done? Education through the media. Pre-commencement negotiations among the tripartite mandatory land reclamation policy, prohibition of mining close to water bodies and in forest reserves, increase in royalties, strict monitoring of the activities of mining companies. What can be done? Cont. Provision of alternative sources of livelihood. Environmental impact assessment. The need for environmental management to sustain the environment and reserve it for succeeding generations, to preserve the ecosystem and biodiversity, to sustain the quality of life, to bring orderliness in the environment, judicious use of available resources. To prevent certain forms of human-induced disasters. Ghana-specific challenges. Deforestation and land degradation, dumping of e-waste, Eurocarcass, air and water pollution and associated issues, industrial pollution, various types/dimension, noise pollution, littering and waster disposal. Illegal mining, popularly referred to as galamsey, erosion of coastal lands and effects, managing the environment. Cont. Creating awareness, education, sensitization, formulation of relevant policies and laws, enforcement of laws. The role of the international community, the United Nations. regional bodies at the national level, unwillingness on the part of some members of the international community, difficulties in enforcement by the international community, the profit motive. Important note of PowerPoint materials/slides. Most PowerPoint materials, popularly referred to by students as slides, are in bullets and therefore not usually self-explanatory, especially if one is not familiar with the subject. It is for this reason that a facilitator explains them to learners, and most often, followed by discussions. In spite of this, I am hopeful that since most of the topics are everyday mundane issues, you will be able to make sense out of most of them, and together with the facilitation by the tutor you will gain more insight. Contact information prepared by Wyafe Kenton, C. Brenya, PhD social psychologist and senior lecturer, Department of Psychology, University of Ghana, Legon. Office location, K. Folsom Building. Email, kwafekenting@ug.edu.gh. Introduction. Definition: subjective noise, objective noise, sources / causes of noise, effects of noise, the way forward. Introduction / background noise is usually an urban phenomenon. It is one of the leading environmental nuisance. Road transport noise is the most prevalent. More than 40% of the world population is exposed to noise above 60 dB, EU, 2013. 0 dB is the softest sound the healthy human ear can detect in Ghana. Noise from religious activities is the most common in residential areas, EPA, 2009. Definition / meaning: unwanted and or offensive sounds which unreasonably intrudes into our daily activities, EPA, 1997. Asterisk: an irrelevant competing stimulus which limits the sensory capacity and produces physiological arousal, Chavez, 2014. Any level of sound which is disordered or irregular, producing an unpleasant sensation that interferes with the ability to hear. It is annoying, unwanted, stressful, and damaging to the ear. Definition / meaning: noise is measured in decibels, dB. The instrument used to measure noise is called dosimeter, noise level meter. In general, any sound above 60 dB during the day and 55 dB during the night is considered as noise. What is noise also depends on the location / zone in relation to the permissible level. Class discussion. Issues arising, sharing of experiences. Sources of noise * broadly divided into indoor and outdoor. The individual. Snoring, Hudspeth, 2007. Household / domestic, e.g. barking dogs, etc. Neighborhood / community, e.g. ceremonies, etc. Commercial, music from drinking spot / bars, etc. Transport, road, air, rail and water. Industrial / construction, from equipment, etc. Natural, thunder, etc. Sources of noise. Cant, transport, road, emanates from tooting of horns, old engines, especially of heavy-duty vehicles. It depends on the traffic flow,